You wouldn't need very many outfits, actually.
No, you wouldn't. Only a couple of outfits. That's it. Or what about one of those little peppy tube things that they come in, the small ones? I couldn't fit in one of those. Just be like a clear bodysuit. That wouldn't look too good. But
exactly.
Anyway, people giving people visuals now that they don't really need when they're driving in their cars.
Right.
Visuals of me in a clear plastic suit. That's not good at all.
Do you love the outdoors?
Do you love to travel?
Do you love finding hidden treasures in towns all over the United States? Hi, I'm Joshua.
And I'm Craig, and welcome to Treasures of Our Town, the podcast that takes you on a journey to explore the unique and charming towns scattered throughout the United States.
Join us as we venture into some of the country's most intriguing destinations, uncovering hidden gems and local secrets along the way.
On today's episode, Josh, we chat to a fellow traveller who has some fun ideas. So, you know what? Let's go.
Fun ideas as well as big ideas.
Exactly. Fun and big all in one. So this episode, Josh, is all about just that, big things and roadside attractions. What are we talking about, Josh?
This is one of my favorite topics because, as you know, I am a huge fan of roadside attractions and big things.
You are.
Mainly because of our wonderful hobby, geocaching, often brings us to some of these amazing places.
It really does. And I've seen plenty of your videos, Josh, when you go to see big things. And it's big things we're talking about. Just give them an example of big things, like the big ball of twine or...
There are many balls of twine. I'm sure Valerie is an expert on all the balls of twine throughout the country.
She is. And let's just say as well, and that is, if people don't understand what we're talking about, we actually mentioned it slightly on the last episode, Josh, when we spoke about those big boots. You remember we talked about those big boots down in Homer?
Yes, the big shrimpin' boots.
Shrimpin' boots. They're the ones. They're the ones. So it feels very American, Josh. Is it just in America?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's big things and there's roadside attractions all over the world, but I think it is very unique to the United States for the amount of roadside attractions. I mean, we are the home of, good old-fashioned Route 66.
Yes, you are. You are. And so what can people get out of these big side attractions, do you think, apart from geocaching? Like what else? What do people do when they stop at these roadside attractions, for instance?
Oh, it's just prime for social media. It's video eye candy. It's just a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And some might say it's a little silly. And maybe that's why I like it.
It could be a little silly. Now, we say that it's the perfect place to stop and stretch your legs whilst you're actually on a traveling trip somewhere. But guess what, Josh?
Yes.
Our guest loves the roadside attractions, and they are her destination. Who are we talking to?
We are going to be talking to an expert when it comes to roadside attractions. We have with us today Valerie Broman from SillyAmerica, Instagram, and all the other social media platforms. Hello, Valerie.
Hello.
There she is. So, Valerie, you're SillyAmerica on Instagram, as Josh just said as well. If people don't understand what we're talking about here, go to Instagram and just Google or check out SillyAmerica and you'll see some of Valerie's photos. So let's introduce yourself, Valerie. Where you're from, what do you like to do? What about Instagram? Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so I am from Chicago, Illinois. I grew up there, lived there all my life or around there. Last year, though, I moved to Dallas, Texas, where I live now. And, everything's bigger in Texas, so there are so many roadside attractions to see here. And I love road trips, and I really especially love roadside attractions. The bigger the better. I love, traveling around, finding, the absolute weirdest things that I can find.
Did you move down to Texas just to get closer to more roadside attractions and big things and to get closer to good old Route 66?
I would say that it was a big pushing point in me moving, but I moved for a job, so it wasn't the only reason, but
Okay.
I was looking for somewhere new, and the idea that I could explore more easily more different roadside attractions here was a good selling point to move out of Chicago.
So, by the sounds of it, Valerie, you've been looking at these big things for quite some time. How long are we talking about?
I think I started my first road trip that I planned specifically to look for roadside attractions was in 2007, I think, around then.
Wow. That was before. Was that before your Instagram account? You just went there because you're just like, I love it. I have a passion for road trips and finding fun things.
Yeah, I think when I grew up, I always had this kind of fascination with roadside attractions and always said, when I'm adult, I'm going to go and drive around and find them all. And then one day I realized, hey, I'm an adult now. I have a car. I can actually do this. So my first trip I planned was just a 3-day trip around Illinois. I grabbed some friends. We went to see, the world's largest ketchup bottle, the Popeye statue, the Superman statue, and all these great things around there.
That's perfect.
Your home state is home of one of the coolest little towns with big things.
We're going to get to that in a second,
I
Josh.
know, we can't get ahead of ourselves, but come on.
He can't help himself. Valerie, you actually went on Instagram. When did your actual Instagram page start? And how long have you actually had the Instagram page now?
Yeah, so I started a blog in around 2007 or 8, right after I started that first trip, just as a place to put my pictures because I really love taking photos of all these big things and stuff. And then I started the Instagram, I think around 2015. It was a kind of natural extension of that because I had all these pictures and stuff and I really wanted to share it with more people and get more people to go and see all of these big roadside attractions.
Is that your mission, Valerie, that you're hoping that you're inspiring people to check out some of the places that you have visited yourself?
Oh, definitely. I love when I post something and people are like, "Oh, I didn't know this existed," and then they go to find it, or people will sometimes tell me "Oh, I went to this place that I saw that you had posted about," and I really love it because a lot of roadside attractions they get torn down or they fall into repair and stuff, and so the more and more people who go and see them, the more people will keep them up and more will pop up.
Exactly. Valerie, with your travels though, how far now have you been? How many states, for instance, in the United States have you been to for the sole purpose of looking for roadside attractions?
I think in total I've been to about 35 states. To actually find roadside attractions, probably about 30 of those.
Wow.
So, and some of them has just been I've only seen 1 or 2 in that state, and
it still counts.
I definitely have plans that I'd love to see, as many as I can in as many states as I can.
So the $1 million question, Valerie, is we want to know from the roadside attraction expert, what are some of your favorite roadside attractions and big things?
So my all-time favorite will always be one called the Spindle, which is no longer up, but it was in Berwyn, Illinois, right near where I lived, and so I'd drive past, or my parents would drive past it with me in the car all the time when I was a kid, and it was actually kind of famous for being in the movie Wayne's World. Way back when. Oh. And it was all these old cars on a spike. That one was kind of the one that just kind of sparked my fascination and love for these roadside attractions. So that one, it was torn down in 2008. They actually just put one up, a kind of mini version of it back up kind of near there on Route 66. Not quite the same, much smaller scale, but I haven't seen it in person yet, but I'm really excited to.
Yeah.
But I think that one will always just have my heart. Other ones, because I guess I like weird cars. Carhenge in Nebraska is definitely a really cool one. It is a bunch of old cars that are placed exactly like Stonehenge. So it's a really fun place to visit.
Yes.
You briefly brought up, hinted at Casey, Illinois,
yes.
which is just this little town that has so many big things in a small area. So
yes,
I mean, you have to love it because you can see the world's largest rocking chair, you can see the world's largest mailbox, you can see all of these by just walking across the street.
Oh, so. I've seen that, Josh. I've seen that on one of your videos. I can remember specifically the world's largest. Is that right? Tell me if I'm wrong. You can actually walk up and into the mailbox?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The mailbox is actually also a working mailbox, so you can go up there and mail something.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. You did post something from that mailbox, didn't you, Josh?
Right. And one of the things I love about some roadside attractions or big things, and if I think about my favorites, it's the ones that are interactive. Because when you put the letter in the mailbox, in the world's largest mailbox, if the wind is not too bad, the actual arm, the flag on the outside of it goes up. How cool is that? It might be one of my favorite big things just for the reason that it's interactive.
Yeah, and I'll just let you know now, that's very, very, very American, because nowhere else in the rest of the world do we have mailboxes where the flag goes up when you put it in. Because the mailboxes in Australia, for instance, we have to actually go to a dedicated mailbox that's an outward mailbox. We can't put it in our own mailbox and put the flag up. We don't have those things. You see, so that's very American.
While we're talking about mailbox and mail, on the last episode, Craig, we talked about the world's tiniest post office.
We did.
In Okapee, Florida?
Florida, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, yeah.
Valerie,
yeah.
have you been down there to, it's near the Everglades. It's the world's tiniest post office.
I have not been there yet, but I might be going to Florida later this year, so maybe I'll try to make a detour that way.
Put it on your list. Put it on your list.
It's cool.
It really is.
So, yeah, we haven't talked about the world's tiniest stuff, because
No.
there's also that, too. that could be a whole different episode.
Very good.
What other spots, Valerie?
Oh, like there's so many great ones on like Route 66 that I love. The Blue Whale of Catoosa is a really fun one that has a lot of history on Route 66. And then there's a lot of like newer ones, like right down the road from there is Buck Adams, which has a big muffler man. And the muffler men were like really these advertising icons that were built in the like 60s, and a lot of them were torn down, but a lot of people are building new ones nowadays. And the one in Tulsa at Buck Adams is a brand new one just from a few years ago that was created specifically for that souvenir shop on Route 66. So that one's a really great one.
Yeah, is it true, Valerie, that some of the big things are often things that are repurposed? Like, I'm thinking in Minnesota, we have this guy called the Happy Chef, which was like a statue outside of a restaurant, and they end up, changing them or making them look different. Have you seen a lot of that repurposing of some of these?
Yeah, definitely.
statues?
Like I saw one of those Happy Chefs in Iowa that was now an umpire at a like baseball field and such. So there's definitely a lot that kind of get molded together, or you can tell that there's something a little different, that they used to be one thing and are now something too.
That's really cool. Just to let everyone know who's listening as well, in the show notes, Josh, I plan to put Valerie's website. She's got a website. Now, Valerie, I did look at your website. I stalked where you've been. I'm actually currently in New Jersey, is where I live. You don't have New Jersey on your website. Why not? Is it, have you heard bad raps about Jersey?
I only write about places that I've actually been in. I have unfortunately not been in New Jersey yet, except for like a little across the river or whatever from New York City, just like into that. So I haven't really done any road trips of New Jersey yet. Being from Chicago, I've done mostly road trips around the Midwest so far. Mm-hmm. I hope to get there soon.
Well, just to let you know, there is one big place near Atlantic City called Lucy the Elephant. She has just recently, I'm talking the last month here, she's just recently been refurbished. Ooh. And again, you can walk up her back leg and into her belly. So, she's one of those ones. She does have an entry fee, though. Do you find, Valerie, with any of yours, that they do have entry fees sometimes?
Sometimes. I think most of them that I've been to are usually free to see. A lot of them sometimes have little like donation boxes if you want to donate to keep them in good condition and stuff and help with restoration and such. So I'd say the majority of things that I go to or have seen, unless they're like a weird museum or something inside, are free. But I think usually if they charge something, it's usually going straight to making sure that it's staying upkept.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Valerie, you're pretty close to Wisconsin. Have you been to the House on the Rock, which is a sort of like a crazy museum. I've never been there, but I'm curious if you have. It seems right up your alley.
I haven't. That's like, I have like a huge bucket list of places that I want to go to. So surprisingly, I didn't have a car for the last 10 years until I moved to Texas. So most of my road trips were just where I'd have to rent a car and go somewhere for that. So like I would usually plan like a bigger trip here and there and stuff. Now that I have a car, I'm able to take a lot more. I try to go at least every other weekend to go see something big. But yeah, there's still so many things that I really were so close but so far away that I couldn't get to.
Yeah.
So you do have a bucket list then?
What was that?
You do have a list, like a physical list? Do you have an actual bucket list?
Yeah, like I have like a ton. There's so many different ones that I want to go to. I think I have lists of like, I want to get to every state. Lucy is definitely on my list. House on the Rock is definitely on my list. Other big ones, I would say, definitely in California, there's a lot of big things like the Cavalon dinosaur. There's like a big artichoke I want to see. There's just so many. There's so many and so little time sometimes.
It really is. Actually, Josh, just recently, you went to New Mexico with your son and you saw the world's biggest pistachio.
Yes, I did. In Alamogordo, just outside of White Sands National Park. Yeah, that was a surprise too. And that's one of the things I love, Valerie, about roadside attractions, world's biggest things. Often it is fun to just happen upon them. That you don't necessarily plan for it, but you're like, oh my gosh, I saw a sign on the road, the world's largest pistachio. We are going to stop. We got to get a picture. We got to get some video.
And I saw the picture of you, Josh, too. And I'll just say this. It's like a nut in a nut. You know what I mean? Like,
yep, exactly. So, Valerie, I think what we would love to know is your planning process, your research process. Of course, like you've got the internet. That's great. But is there something that you use to plan your trips, to map them out, to strategically hit as many destinations in one trip? Tell us a little bit about your process of planning your trips.
Yeah, so I am a huge planner when it comes to these trips. I actually use a software called Airtable, which is kind of a database software that I used at work and that I bought a subscription for myself because I love using it so much. So I create like a spreadsheet for everything, and I'll go on like RoadsideAmerica.com is a great website for finding roadside attractions. They pretty much have a list of every single thing and maps, so you can go and look at find what's on your route and find things there. And then I'll do that. I'll Google things. I'll look around, and I use Instagram a lot too. Like I'll go through different hashtags and stuff and save attractions I see that other people have gone to that I really want to see. And I usually just compile all of those and everything into a big database. And then I put the address there. I categorize them if it's like a roadside attraction, my hotel, diners, wherever I want to go. I rank everything in terms of like what is a must-see item, what's a high item, what's kind of a low item. Because like sometimes I'll plan a trip that's like a week long and I have 300 different stops. And
wow.
As much as I want to, I can't make 300 different stops. So I'll rank them to make sure that I'm seeing those must-see. But then if I have like an extra hour, I can see what else is in my thing. And then I take all those addresses and I even put them into a Google map, and I have my map for my trip.
Josh, I must say.
Yep. Are we thinking the same thing?
We're thinking exactly the same thing, mate. I'm telling you now. I look straight in your eyes and you put your little finger up and same thing. And that is, tell us, Josh, the same thing.
You think and you plan very much like a geocacher.
Yeah.
So, Valerie, we're going to ask, this is not a geocaching podcast, but this is a podcast guided by the hobby of geocaching, because geocaching is just an incredible tour guide. It brings us to a lot of these places. A lot of these places that you mentioned, there are actually geocaches hidden there. So everybody wants to know. I want to know. Valerie, have you heard of geocaching, and have you ever done it?
So this is going to be a surprising answer here, because I do know of geocaching, and I've done it once before.
Okay.
But not on one of my road trips. I did it in Angkor Wat in Cambodia.
Oh, wow.
Wow. She's got a country we don't have.
I don't have that. Exactly. Exactly. Wow.
I was traveling there with somebody I had met through like Twitter, and we were traveling together there. And he was big into geocaching, and so I was with him when we were exploring Angkor Wat, and so he was doing the geocaching there, and so I got to experience that.
Can you believe it, Josh? She currently lives and resides and travels in the most populated geocaching country in the world, and yet she has not found one in the United States, but in Cambodia.
I haven't like specifically gone to do it here.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Valerie, that's
good.
gotta change. We're going to challenge you right now. Your next trip, we'll help you. We'll help you, and we want to challenge you to try to find a geocache at your next roadside attraction or next big thing, because they're everywhere. There's ones at the Blue Whale. There's ones at the dinosaurs in California. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
There's 3 million hidden worldwide. So.
And just to let you know, Valerie, as well, some of them themselves are literally what they call virtual geocaches. Just to give you a little bit of an idea, virtual means that there's not actually anything for you to pick up or find, but the virtuals, most cases, are at the big attractions. You see, the roadside attractions, the big things. And some of them would be just take a selfie with these. So literally, you could log. How many, Josh, can she log by all her photos on Instagram?
Probably a lot. She probably already has 100 finds.
Exactly. Doesn't even know it. So doesn't even know.
So she is a geocacher.
Yes.
So here's the thing that I just think is fascinating, Valerie, is following your Instagram account. You go to the roadside attractions, but you plan so much. I'm not shocked that you're a planner, because you plan your outfits to match the attraction. For example, Strawberry Point, Iowa, which I've been to. Of course, Valerie has a beautiful strawberry dress right in front of that giant strawberry. So tell us a little bit about your roadside attraction fashion.
So actually, this kind of started, I didn't always do that, but my family was actually planning a trip to Disney World in 2020, which didn't happen. But in preparation for that, I started following a bunch of like Disney bloggers and Disney content creators on Instagram. And a lot of them do something called Disney bounding, where since you can't wear a costume to the park, what they would do is they would dress like a Disney princess, but make it fashion. And so they'd kind of like, wear the colors or wear something of the style and make it like, to make their photos kind of be cool Disney photos and stuff on there. And so I ended up following a lot of these in preparation of my trip. And I just kind of got inspired from that of like, what if I took that idea of Disney bounding and made it roadside attraction bounding. And so that Strawberry Point one was actually the first trip that I actually started doing this on, because I had found this strawberry skirt, and I'm like, Iowa's right there. I can go and try the Iowa and pose in front of a strawberry with the strawberry skirt.
I didn't actually realize, Valerie. I've been following your Instagram page now for a few weeks, etc. After Josh mentioned it to me, and I didn't even, to be honest with you. But now you tell me about it, it rings a bell. I remember this one. I saw it today actually, where you're in like a blue dress sort of thing, and you're with these big men or family by the looks of it. This family, but they're all in blue, so it makes sense now. That makes sense. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I do a lot of changing in my car.
Exactly. That was sort of my next question, because you're taking multiple outfits for one day. It sounds, you know what, Craig, this sounds like actually more planning than geocaching.
It really is. It really is. Now, let's get into it as well. Speaking of planning, you are a planner that much that you've planned out, and you have a book now.
I do.
Tell us about the book. And by the way, just to let you know, again, the link for the book is in the description or the show notes. So link for the book directly in the show notes. Tell us about this book.
Yes, so I have a book called the Road Trip Journal and Activity Book. And as the title implies, it is half journal and half activity book. So when you're going on a road trip, there's a lot of spaces to, write about your day. There's journal prompts that you can write about to reflect on your travels and what you saw and all of that, and keep kind of a log of where you went, how you felt, what was going on. But then the book also has 100 different activities that you can do in the car or at your hotel or at a roadside attraction when you get out of the car. So it's really a lot of fun things. There's, tried and true classics like license plate game. There's social media inspired challenges like a gas station snack challenge where you can go into the gas station and like everybody in the car picks out something different for the car to try. And there's a lot of like writing prompts and things like that people can do while they're traveling on stuff. So it's really a great book for people who want to have more fun on a road trip, or even if you don't love road trips, it'll give you something fun to do in the car that you can just work on.
You know what, Josh? This reminds me. Bring back the old school road trips here, and I'm talking about. So, if you're a single person by yourself, this book's good for you. If you're a couple or two friends, this book's good for you. You know what, Josh? If you're a family, this book is good for you. Can you imagine instead of the kids being sitting on their iPads, actually have them with their heads up, not down, going through this book, checking out and playing these roadside games. Valerie, I did actually have some research, and I did look, and some of those games that you actually have in this book are just, I didn't even realize. I've never heard them before, but they sound great and so much family fun as well. So definitely check out this book. I'm telling you, Josh, it's worth it.
Yeah, what inspired you to create it, Valerie?
Yeah, so I always just, I love road trips, and I think that a lot of people are kind of intimidated by them, or they don't think that, a lot of people just are like, a road trip is point A to point B. And so I'm always about inspiring people to, do much more on the road than just drive. So I thought it's a great book for, people to do things in the car and have more activity, more involvement than just, driving.
Yeah, and it'll make the kids, Josh, as well, make the kids talk to the parents.
There you go.
Yeah, it gives you
And another thing I love about it, one of the things that a lot of people say that are geocachers that they love about it is that we love checking off boxes. We love been there, done that. We're like, there's like a sense of accomplishment when we've gone somewhere and done something. So it sounds like with some of these challenges, it's like we did it. We did the challenge. So I think that's really appealing to something like that.
What I like about it too, Josh, as well, just by the sounds of it, is if it's a physical book itself, you're not going to throw it out after you've done your road trips, you know what I mean? So you can actually have it in your bookcase years down the track. I'm talking when the kids, for instance, they're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, when they're 20, their 21st birthday party, you get the book out and go, remember this road trip? And it'd spark those memories, you know what I mean?
Love
so that's
that.
what I like about it too.
Love that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, definitely. And it's definitely something that you can use, across multiple road trips too. So there's so many activities, and there's enough room for, I think, about 50 different days worth of journal entries. So, for most people if you're taking a weekend trip here and there, if you're taking a week-long road trip, there's so much that'll keep you entertained. And and then you have this great souvenir from your road trips for years to come.
That's a great idea. Great. Josh, our Patreons. We've got a Patreon, by the way, and our Patreon. We put it out there for our Patreons to ask Valerie some questions as well, knowing that she was coming on. And Tim from Patreon, his question to her was, "What makes a great roadside attraction, and does it need to be more than just the attraction itself?" I think that's a great question. What makes a great roadside attraction to you, Valerie?
Yeah, that is a great question. I think it's kind of different for everybody, because for me, I love just about any type of attraction, whether it's, a smallest thing, a biggest thing, a muffler man, a museum, anything like that. But for some people, I think a lot of people are looking for, the biggest of the big, whatever, if they're going to pull off the road. So I think it's different for everyone. I don't think there has to be anything besides just the attraction there. A lot of them are, at a gas station or at a souvenir shop or at a hotel or something like that, which are really great. But I don't think you need that for an attraction. I think an attraction is just anything that makes you smile. And I think that really it's just pulling off the road and seeing something that you've never seen before.
I love that. Sparks joy. I think if I was to answer that question, I said it before, I do love the attractions that are interactive, that you do something at. And we would argue, if you take a photo, that's interactive. But sometimes there's ones that you can I don't know, do something or involve yourself with. I love those. And then I'm also a fan of, like, if a roadside attraction is well maintained, right? If something's falling apart and the city that it's in, there's not a lot of love put into it, it sometimes can feel like a little bit of a, I don't know, like, boy, this thing's really run down. So I'm thinking of, a fresh coat of paint on that Jolly Green Giant is important.
I'm with both of you there as well. For me, what makes a great roadside attraction is we have them in Australia. We do have them in Australia as well. The one that comes to mind for me in Australia, everyone listening to this from Australia will understand this when I say the Big Banana. The Big Banana is located literally halfway between Sydney and Brisbane, which is the two major cities of those two states. Now, it takes you, I'm probably going to say about 11-hour drive to get from Sydney to Brisbane, right? So it's directly halfway in the middle, so it's the perfect stop. The Big Banana is located at a banana farm. It is maintained perfectly to the point where they've even got where you place your camera and where you place your phone, for instance. They've got little holders where you can place your stuff and then run up to the thing and with your remote controls or your Bluetooth, take your selfie, Josh, from that far away because this banana is, I'm telling you, it is huge. It has the shops next to it as well where you can get frozen bananas dipped in chocolate on a stick and all that sort of stuff as well. So it's delicious. And of course they've got all the other things, like everything banana. Everything you can think of as banana.
Well, how awesome is that, Craig? It has its own phone holder. I'm just thinking of Valerie right now because we didn't even talk about that. You're often traveling alone, Valerie. And so how awesome would it be to every roadside attraction, you just put your phone in there? Do you carry with you, I assume, some sort of setup tripod situation?
Yes, yeah, I bring my tripod and then I set up my DSLR with a phone app to take pictures or do like delayed pictures and such, so I can get all my own photos.
Well, there you go. If you're listening to this and you own or you're part of a roadside attraction, listen very wisely. That is, Australia does it good by having, but Josh, they don't have just one, for instance. They've got two different stands.
Wow.
Because one is for phones and one is for DSLR cameras. Because they've different focal lengths, you see. So, and you can even put the phone on landscape mode or portrait mode as well. So they're different. Just saying, these are good things.
They all need that.
So, Valerie, you're talking to two people that are vloggers with a V. And we're so used to getting strange and funny looks every time we're filming or taking photos. When you're out seeing these places and you have your setup and you have your strawberry dress in Strawberry Point, Iowa, do you get looks? Do you get people saying things to you?
I do. Well, there's a lot of times I'm at a roadside attraction and it's kind of in the middle of like nowhere and there's like corn all around me and it's like there's no one around and it's great and I can take my time. I do sometimes get strange looks, but I also was recently, last year I was in Denver and I was outside like a popular museum and there was like brunch going on down the block and like there were tons of people around while I was taking pictures with these giant cows outside. And this woman walked by and she yelled, "I love an independent woman."
Love that.
And that just made my day. Like, for all the people you think are like looking at you like you're crazy or weird, like people get it. Like sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Josh, with her Instagram, you got to remember as well, and of all people, Instagram's not just about photos now. There's reels. And Valerie, I've seen some of your reels, and I'm telling you now, I like your reels as well. The movement you get in there as well with the selfies and everything. It's the same thing. Everyone's going to look at you and go, "Oh, look, there's an influencer in the wild."
Valerie, speaking of Denver, Colorado, I was just looking at your Instagram today again, and I noticed you went somewhere that we mentioned on the last show, Craig, and that is Meow Wolf.
Oh, wow.
Is that what you were referencing when you're mentioning the museum?
No, I was at outside of an art museum, but I definitely
Okay.
Meow Wolf was a great experience, and I can't wait. They're actually opening one in Texas soon, not too far from here.
Cool.
So I am excited for that.
Yeah, I just got back from the one in Santa Fe.
Oh yeah.
And it was just an incredible, unbelievable experience. It's hard to describe. We talked about it in the last episode, but we could do a whole episode on Meow Wolf. But if you don't know what we're talking about, listen to the last episode.
Yeah. We go in depth a little bit more, and also maybe in an upcoming episode we're going to talk about it even more when we talk about New Mexico. We're going to go New Mexico is the next episode, Josh.
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
We'll talk more about New Mexico.
Now, Josh, you're interested in this question as well. Again,
Yes.
Kim from Patreon. He says the same thing, and I know you're interested, Josh, and that is,
Yes.
Valerie, this is the exact question. Being that I'm, not me, but this is from Tim, being that I'm from Minnesota, what do you consider to be the best roadside attraction in my state?
Okay. So I've definitely been to Minnesota. I've been to a lot of really great ones there. On my bucket list is the Paul Bunyan and Blue Ox, because I think that's kind of probably the most classic, well-known one in Minnesota. But I haven't been there yet, but I hope to get there sometime soon. One of my favorites there is Otto the Otter in Fergus Falls, which is this big otter. Just because it's adorable, I love it. And I know another big one is the Jolly Green Giant statue, which I know you've said is one of your favorites, Josh.
Yes.
I think that's your number one, Josh, just saying.
I grew up about 10 miles from it, so it has, similar to you, Valerie, it sort of sparked my interest in big things because I would drive by it all the time.
That's so cute. Valerie, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. You've been great.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Not
It
a
was
problem
really
at
fun
all.
to talk to you guys.
And remember, everyone, as well, the show notes themselves. The show notes have all the links that we've discussed, including Valerie's new book. What else am I missing, Josh? What am I missing?
Oh, that was it. I just wanted to make sure people knew where to get the book. Where's the best?
Yeah.
Where's the best place for people to get your book?
You can go onto my website at SillyAmerica.com, and there are links to it all over the place, so you should be able to find it there.
But pretty much through Amazon, I think it is, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah, and you can get it. It's on Amazon. It's on Barnes & Noble. It's at bookshop.org. It's pretty much any bookstore that you look for it. You can search for the Road Trip Journal and Activity Book, and you will find it there.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Valerie, congratulations. I know that is an amazing accomplishment to have something published like that. So way to go, and we wish you the best success on the sales.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks again. So, Josh, how good was that? Big things.
We are cut from the same cloth
We really
as Valerie.
Yep.
Just the way she was describing how she approaches her trips and how she decides where she goes, and she prioritizes things just like we prioritize our geocaching adventures.
Yep. And she's writing a book as well, just like you've written a book, Josh.
We're the same person.
You are.
Only I don't have the same fashion.
No, you don't get dressed up like she does.
What if we started dressing up like the geocaches that we found?
What, like I'm going to dress up in an ammo can? Like,
yeah.
How does that work? I'm going to dress all in green.
There goes Craig again, dressing up like an ammo can.
Exactly.
For social media.
How would you dress up then as a bison tube or a mint tin even? Like,
you wouldn't need very many outfits, actually.
No, you wouldn't. Only a couple of outfits. That's it. Or what about one of those little peppy tube things that they come in, the small ones? I couldn't fit in one of those. Just be like a clear bodysuit. That wouldn't look too good.
Exactly.
But anyway, people giving people visuals now that they don't really need when they're driving in their cars.
Right.
Visuals of me in a clear plastic suit. That's not good at all. Anyway, Josh, I thought to myself as well while Valerie was talking, I thought, what roadside attractions have I been to and which ones I want to go to? And so I made a little top 5 list of myself.
So did I. What a coincidence.
I was trying to segue in nicely.
Come on. It's okay for people to know that we actually planned some of these conversations.
We do plan some of them, but not all of them. Some of them are off the cuff. Like dressing up as an ammo can was off the cuff, but anyway. Josh, you're number 1 for your top 5.
This is in no particular order. Yeah. And I have been to 4 out of the 5 of my roadside attractions that I selected. And my number 1, but in no particular order, is the Kakaskia Dragon in Vandalia, Illinois.
Yep. And you took that from me because that's my number one as well. I actually found that one when I did my very first road trip across the United States in 2018. And that was obviously with a geocache there as well that, spoiler alert, is underneath the leg.
Yep.
But that's the one that breathes fire. You got to get the coins.
To describe it, it is a very tall, silver, metal, fire-breathing dragon.
And at the front of the dragon, as it breathes fire, at the front is a knight in armor as well.
It is so cool. And it checks the boxes for me because it was interactive. Yeah. You have to go to the liquor store or I believe the hardware store, and you have to purchase tokens to get the dragon to actually blow fire.
That's right. And you put the tokens in a little box that's separate from the actual dragon. So you can actually see the fire at the same time it's happening and whatnot as well. Because you think about it, Josh, it does take money for it to breathe fire with actual LPG gas, that sort of thing too. So
it's interesting because I did read some of the history of it before I went there. And it was a strategy by a local person there to sell propane to campers. Because I believe there's a camp area, like a RV area, really close to the dragon. And that was a way for them to sell the propane.
That's what it is. Well, that's my number one too. That was my number one as well because of that reason. My number two, though, Josh, and again, mine are in no particular order. I've done this one. I've only been to 3 of these, my 5. But the second one for me is a place called Lucy the Elephant in Atlantic City in New Jersey. We just spoke about it to Valerie because she needs to put it on her list. It's just been refurbished. It is a virtual as well. Lucy the elephant. She is huge and beautiful. Stunning girl. Google these ones up, guys. If you haven't heard of these ones, you have to Google them up. Lucy does have. She's like an elephant, like an elephant in India, where they have the seat on top of them. So she's actually got a seat on top of her itself as well, and she's got windows out of her belly and out of her chest, so you can actually walk up the inside of her leg. She's all grey now as well. She used to be different colours. She used to be, before she refurbished, she had painted toenails. She had different colours on different toenails. So that was pretty cool. But she is big.
I'm looking at a picture of her right now.
Oh, yep.
She is huge.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it, and she's 2 times the size of a 2-story house. So it looks like she's 4 stories tall. And what's really funny is, how am I going to paint a picture for people in words? There's a window out the back.
Yep.
And the window out the back is the actual butthole.
Yeah, it's under her tail.
But the tail is like moved to the side.
So you can see.
So you can see out the window / the anus.
If you're listening to this, just pause it right now and you'll have to Google Lucy the Elephant in Atlantic City and have a look at the photos and you'll see exactly what Josh is talking about. So yeah, that's my number 2, Josh. Lucy the Elephant.
Is there a geocache there? There's got to be.
Well, it's a virtual.
Oh, yes.
But in saying that, at the moment, the virtual is disabled. Because the paint has all changed and everything else as well, it's a 2002 virtual, and they had to disable it because all the questions now aren't right. There's no real answers, you see. But the reviewer can't get a hold of the CO, Josh, because it's 2002. Oh. So I'm hoping that reviewers given the CO 12 months to contact them back. So I think that's pretty reasonable because it's an old virtual. I've got my eye on it though. If it does go, I've got my little virtual weight in the wings ready to.
Wait, you have a virtual credit?
Yeah, I've had 2 now already.
What?
Yeah, haven't you?
I haven't gotten one.
It's the accent, Josh. It's the accent.
Oh my gosh.
No, my other virtual is in Australia. And it's actually a T5 virtual in Australia where you literally have to walk for almost 2 hours through a beautiful bushwalk, but a certain time of day, and you've got to time it correctly with the tidal area because it's a rock shelf that comes when it's in high tide. It's all full, but otherwise when it goes out, again we talk about Instagram. This is one of the most Instagrammable locations in Australia, and it's called the Figure 8 Pools because when it's low tide, there is literally these big figure of eights of just rock pools, and they're so deep, and you actually have to take a photo to log it. You in the rock pool, like actually swimming in the rock pool. So I think it's a T4.
Wait a minute. Did I see a video of you like naked doing that virtual? You sent me a Geo Challenge of the Month video once where you were naked.
Yeah, no, because you don't log your own virtuals. No, that was a different one. That was an Earth cache, that one. But yeah,
okay.
And technically, I wasn't naked. I was just wearing budgie smugglers. So,
and well, just use your imagination what a bungee snuggler is.
Smuggler, you smuggle, not snuggle, smuggle, budgie smuggler. You don't know what budgie smugglers is? It's an Australian term, and again, Google it and have a look at those photos. It's just
or
a swimwear.
not.
It's a swimwear. It's a form of male swimwear.
Gotcha.
Anyway, what's your number two, Josh?
Let's move on.
Move on.
My number two, now I'm kind of cheating here, Craig,
mm-hmm.
is the whole city of Casey, Illinois.
You can't pick one out of that whole place? How many is there in that city?
I would say there's at least 20. At least 20 roadside attractions. Some are Guinness Book World Record size things. Mm-hmm. Let's see if I can think of as many as I can off the top of my head. World's largest post box. Huge pencil. Barbershop pole. Teeter-totter. Rocking chair. World's largest pizza slicer. This is just off the top of my head. There's a giant taco. There's a huge bird cage. There's a large wooden airplane, like a toy wooden airplane. Giant wooden nickel.
There's 10.
I
got one for you. I remember because I remember your video.
Okay.
Because you did a video of it, and it was the not the anvil, but the what do you call it? The hammer at the courthouse.
Oh yes, that was in a nearby town, so it wasn't.
Oh,
it wasn't exactly in Casey, but the other. It's so funny because the other little towns are like, we want to hop on this huge train.
Yeah.
So yeah, look up Casey, Illinois, and the whole list will be there. But if you like big things, you got to go there. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I've got this one. My next one is on my to-do list, my bucket list. And because when we spoke about these lists today, I actually asked my wife. I said to her, because she loves the big things as well. She's a geocacher as well. And her favorite is the world's largest bison, actual bison. And that's in Jamestown in North Dakota. So that's her favorite. And she'll show me photos of it too. It is huge. And it is. It looks exactly like a normal bison does, but it's just monstrosity. Like it's huge. And you see, Josh, we've got these little bisons ourselves, her and I, that we take on some of our road trips away, and we've actually got different Instagram pages. Like Buddy Bison is an Instagram page, and whereby the bison itself has the Instagram page. So again, that's another reason why she likes it so much. Is because it represents the bisons themselves. So there you go. That's my number 3.
I'm looking at it right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3,800 pounds.
Yeah.
That's a very heavy bison. Wow.
Yeah. See, you don't get in front of that one. Lucky it's a human made, that one.
Yeah.
And not a real one. Can you imagine them being real that size?
It's like a dinosaur.
Yeah, exactly. What's your next one, Josh?
I have not visited this yet.
Oh, really? You've got one that you haven't?
I'm so excited the day I do because it will make a fantastic YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
I told you that I loved roadside attractions that were interactive. This one is maybe the most interactive one I've ever heard of. It is a geocaching virtual, and that is the world's biggest ball of paint.
How do you get a ball of paint?
So this guy in Alexandria, Indiana, it's inside of a building, and it's a giant ball of paint. And what he does, he invites people to come in and add their layer of paint to the ball. The layer dries, the next person comes, they add a layer. And so I don't know how many layers there are, but it is currently, I believe, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, the world's biggest ball of paint. Well, get this, Craig. When you add your own layer, you are now the world record holder.
Oh, wow.
Is that not cool?
That is really cool. Just, do you actually get a certificate?
Yes.
I don't think so. You do?
No, the guy gives you a certificate, says you are now a world record holder. You now have created the world's largest ball of paint. How cool is that?
That is all. I'm just looking again, Josh. I'm looking at photos now as we speak, and what we're talking about now is this ball. I mean, can you imagine how many times people have had to actually add to this ball of paint? So this ball's hanging from the roof, and it looks like it's hanging from an actual ball and chain, but it's got a weight, like it's got a scale on the top of it. And what this person does, by the looks of things, once you paint it over, then they reweigh it basically, and then they put a new weighted number on there. So the weighted number that I see, I think this is going to be from only 6 months ago, was looks like 24,703 pounds. Wow. I mean, it'd be heavier than that now, but
yeah, I'm looking at a picture of Mike Carmichael. He must be the owner of the ball of paint, and
right,
and he is. It's a picture of him with coat number 24,624.
Oh, it's coat number. It's
the coat number.
Yes. Yeah, it's not weight. It's coat number. Okay.
But that the cool thing for people that I know have been there, they say that he is very geocacher friendly.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
and
he's people friendly.
Yes, and so I gotta go there. It's gonna make a great video. And I've always wanted to be a world record holder. So
I wonder, well, you kind of are to some people, but I wonder how long it actually takes you. But because by the looks of it too, you paint it over, not just a part of it. You actually paint the entire ball. Like each person paints the entire ball with a roller. By the looks of things as well.
It probably doesn't take that long.
No, it wouldn't take that long.
But
half hour.
I got to do it, Craig. It's a geocache. It's a world-side attraction. It's going to make great video.
Yep.
And I'm sure if you go on YouTube, you could probably see video of other people painting this ball of paint.
Exactly. Well, my next one, Josh, you've actually done this one, and I haven't done it because it's on my bucket list. You've done it, and I'm going to say that some of our Patreons, because we've got a few Patreons as well that are our Patreons that are on Long Island. You got to remember they're on Long Island.
Yeah, you're not in Long Island. You're on it.
You're on Long Island. We make sure of that. It's called The Thing. Now, it's not that big, but tell us about The Thing, Josh, because you've done it, and you've got I think a TikTok and a reel on it as well.
Yeah.
Tell us about
statue.
The Thing.
It's not huge.
No,
but it's
not.
A statue from Marvel, the character The Thing from Marvel. Yeah. And it's created out of almost like scraps of metal. But the cool thing about it is how creative a geocache is hidden on The Thing.
Yeah, because it's not a virtual, that one. It's a traditional, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So
I can't believe you're so close to it and you've never been there.
Well, New Jersey and on Long Island, you got to go through New York, which gives me it gives my wife anxiety to just drive through New York. It's just, because they've got a mega coming up too, Josh, on Long Island. They've got a mega coming up, I think, in September. I haven't looked at the details, but for me to drive there, it's going to take me nearly 3.5 hours to drive there. Yeah, just to get through New York. So there's a new mega coming on to Long Island. But anyway, I should get The Thing at that particular time. So,
it's right by the water in a really cool, like, fishing area with like a lot of restaurants and it was really cool.
Well, get ready, because when I do it, you'll be my phone a friend, just saying, if I can't find it. What's your next one, Josh?
All right. The fourth one. We've already talked about it. There's a lot of nostalgia for me.
I just looked at it.
It is the Jolly Green Giant in Blue Earth, Minnesota, which is in southern Minnesota, right on I-90. It is exactly what you think it is. It's 55.5 feet tall. Jolly Green Giant towers over the city. And get this, Craig, it wears size 78 shoes.
Wow.
78.
Wow. Well, I'm not sure if you actually had this in your list either. I'm just looking. When it was introduced was in 1903. That's 120 years ago now.
Well, the Jolly Green Giant character was.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, but
I misread
the statue was placed in 1979. There's some really interesting history. You know, all these things usually have interesting history.
Yeah.
And it was a DJ from Blue Earth by the name of Paul Hedberg. And he often had interviews. He interviewed people. And the Jolly Green Giant like canned factory where they have canned vegetables. It was in Blue Earth. So what he would do is he would hand canned vegetables to his guests, and his guests would always ask, "Well, where's the Jolly Green Giant?" And thus he was like, "You know what?
I've got to build
That's
this.
a great idea." And so the city built the Jolly Green Giant. And get this, even in winter, the people of the town, they knit a scarf for him to wear on those cold winter nights in Minnesota.
This one you just reminded me. This one is not on my list, so I'm not going to class it as this is going to be an A for me. And my wife actually has a virtual at this one, and it's called the Bayville dinosaur. Again, it's not big, it's not huge. Like I'm going to say it's going to be 12 foot long because it's one of the Brontosaurus type dinosaurs. But the history of this dinosaur, I helped, I'm doing with inverted quotes, I helped her place the virtual. In other words, I did all the research for it and actually did the write-up. And this dinosaur has been there for over 100 years. It has had so many facelifts. But Josh, get this dinosaur itself, where it used to be the old main thoroughfare. Obviously, it's not now because they put the parkway through. But it used to be the old thoroughfare. So a lot of heavy vehicles, trucks and whatnot used to come through. It lost its head that many times that they had to move it back away from the road because the head keeps on getting knocked off by trucks and whatnot as well. But what reminded me was you said about the scarves. This thing gets dressed up every single holiday. So, we just had, for instance, we had St. Patrick's Day. It had a green St. Patrick's hat on and a green scarf around its neck. Your next is Easter. It's actually there now with bunny ears as well. So, yeah, that's the dinosaur down here in New Jersey.
Well, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
And speaking of dinosaurs, that's my last one. What a great segue. It's the Cabazon dinosaurs in Cabazon, California. I've been here. It is a movie location from one of my favorite 80s movies, and that is Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I've seen the video that you've put on YouTube.
Yeah. And in the same way, Craig, they paint these dinosaurs to fit the current time of year.
Wow.
So when I was there in February, one of the dinosaurs was pink and it had a heart tattoo, and it was a Valentine's dinosaur. There are two dinosaurs. It's a Tyrannosaurus Rex and a Brontosaurus. You can go up inside the Brontosaurus, and there's a gift shop in there. And you can also go into the mouth of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's right along the highway. I found it. It was in between Joshua Tree National Park and LA. It was like the halfway point. Yeah. A perfect roadside attraction towering over the interstate. That is my last one. And of course, there's a geocache there. Of course.
Well, when I asked my wife today about the roadside attractions, which one she likes as well, that was her next on her list was those dinosaurs. She loves those dinosaurs. Now, when you went there, Josh, I do believe you went into the gift shop and you made a purchase. What did you purchase?
I purchased. That's funny that you remember that, Greg. I purchased a sticker that said, "Large Marge sent me."
That's the one. See, I do remember your videos, Josh.
Yes.
I do, mainly because that one I edited.
Yes.
But anyway,
yes.
And I had to find the whole the segment from Large Marge sent me on YouTube as well to actually place that in.
If you don't know that reference, that is from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Exactly, which you do a great Pee-wee, just saying.
See some dinosaurs. I had to do it.
It sounds better than what it looks. I'm just saying.
You
so lucky
brought
this is an
it
audio
up.
podcast. I did.
You brought it up, so if anybody brings it up, I got to do it.
That's right. That's right. Well, Josh, my last one, again, this one I haven't done, but it is on my bucket list. And I thought Valerie kind of touched on it, but it may be a different one because she touched on the, what was it called, the Stonehenge, the Carhenge one, right?
In Nebraska.
This one's in Nebraska. This one's called the Cadillac Ranch in Texas. So have you seen that one, the Cadillac Ranch in Texas?
I have not been there,
You've
but I
got to
think I've
Google
seen
that one
pictures
now.
of it.
Yeah, have a look at the pictures now. So the Cadillac Ranch in Texas is those ones that the cars are all pretty much like on an angle, nose down, and people go there, graffiti, paint, left, right, and center, and they're everywhere, all in a beautiful row, all these Cadillacs. So that's the one that I looked at was the Cadillac Ranch in Texas. And you know what, Valerie might actually go there. We might contact her and I'll ask her that later on. Has she been to or will she go to the Cadillac Ranch in Texas?
Yes, I'm looking at pictures now. Yeah, they look like they're, many different colors. They look like they're kind of graffitied.
Yeah.
I've also seen a roadside attraction, I believe, just outside of Vegas, where the cars are kind of in the ground like that as well, but they're all painted like one color, like pink and green. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I don't recall which one that one is though.
Everybody is shouting to us through their radios right now because they're like, oh yeah, they don't know.
And if you do know which one it is, then by all means contact us. You can contact us on our Gmail. That's treasuresofourtownpodcast@gmail.com. That's where they can contact us to give us any of these information if we miss anything, Josh, because we do. We're only human. We don't research everything, although you're researching now.
Yeah, I don't know, but I've seen pictures of it.
That's right. But we did there was an honorable, I'll say that correctly, honorable mention.
Yes.
Yeah. What's
on TikTok? I've seen these heads of presidents. Williamsburg, Virginia. There's 42 giant heads of presidents, and it's sort of, Craig, like a lost place.
Yeah.
Like it's really like kind of run down, but it looks a little creepy and pretty darn cool just to see these gigantic president heads.
What are they going to do with these heads?
I don't know why it was there. I'm sure somebody knows that's maybe from Virginia, but it looks fascinating. I'm interested in the giant president heads.
Absolutely.
In Williamsburg, Virginia.
Absolutely. And where are they going to go? If they're going to stay there, are they going to open up to be a proper, like a real attraction or not?
I think they're too run down. I mean, you look at the videos and pictures, there's kind of like, weeds growing up, but that's kind of like, I think that's kind of like the appeal of it. We like these kind of hidden, lost places.
Yes.
And this
The
is sort of
gems
kind of like
our locations. That's right.
Exactly.
I like it. And you've got another one.
One more.
Yeah.
We could go on and on, Craig.
We could.
Santa Claus, Indiana.
Oh, I haven't seen this one.
It's just everything Santa Claus. I mean, so much everything Santa Claus that they've named the town Santa Claus. We got multiple Santa Claus statues. This is like the home of Christmas, man. If you want to visit Santa for real, you got to go to Santa Claus, Indiana. There's a little workshop. If you go there right before the holidays, you can write a letter to Santa, and he will mail you a letter back.
Well, again, Josh, I'm looking at photos now. Yeah, you're right. Santa Claus is the town name, and then there's Santa Claus statues everywhere throughout the town.
Yes.
And the statues range in size, I'm going to say from about 6 feet tall up to about 12 foot tall. One big one is.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how busy that place would be at Christmas time?
Oh, yeah. It's a destination. I mean, there's an amusement park in the town. Get what the amusement park's called. It's called Holiday World.
Oh, wow. I just see it now. Holiday World. It's a theme park in Santa Claus, the town.
If you would like to see it, I have a Christmas Geocaching Vlogger episode where Reese and I, my daughter, we visit Santa Claus, Indiana.
Oh, that's really nice. How old is that video? How long ago is that one?
Couple years old.
Yeah.
We've recorded it in 2020.
Is this the one where it features Goliath?
Don't give away the ending, Craig.
Oh, sorry.
But yes, he's in there somewhere.
Very good. Very good. All right, Josh. We're going to have to come to an end to this show.
Why?
We could go on
Why,
forever
Craig?
because we like to keep it under an hour. Under an hour is nice. So
I could talk about this all night. We could do more episodes. Can we, Craig, please? Can we do more episodes of big things and roadside attractions?
we may do a part B later on down the track. As someone famous other person would say, that's for another show. But but guys, if you have been enjoying this podcast itself, we'd really appreciate your support by Patreon. You can support us on Patreon, and you'll be helping to us create even better content and keep it free for everyone. So in other words, no annoying commercials halfway through. That would be nice.
Yeah.
So please consider joining.
This is the only annoying commercial
Exactly.
you're getting.
Please consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/treasures of our town. Oh, wow. All right, Josh, next episode for us. Our next episode, we will chat all things New Mexico and Breaking Bad. You were just there with your son.
You're in for a treat. Sorry.
So make sure you tune into that one. You really are. It's going to be huge. So how can people find us otherwise, Josh? How can they contact us?
Oh, feel free to reach out to us at treasuresofourtownpodcast@gmail.com, or you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the places.
So that's it for our show today. Please subscribe, rate, and review on any of your favorite podcasting apps. And as always, Josh,
May your travels always lead you to the most unexpected and big places, finding amazing hidden gems around the world. See you next time, everybody. We're out.
bye.